So let's talk about coding. The very first thing that essentially we'll do when we work with Codeflix is to create an app. Yeah, we need to create a new app, and thanks to that app, we'll be able to build on top of it. So on the setup videos that we send you, we show you how to create an app from scratch. So you need to land on you need to open a terminal. You know, the terminal is that classic window with, yeah, speaking, it's a black background with white text on top of it, even though it could be on the other way around, yeah, where you can type commands. Yeah, you can type like a hacker. Yeah, you can type stuff. So can anybody remember, can anybody tell me how do I create an app with React from the command line?
Create React app.
Fantastic. Create React app and then space the name of your app. Yeah? In your case, probably you'll call it Codeflix, probably, yeah, because that's what you're building. In my case, let me call it something different. Let me call it coronavirus. Is that too aggressive? Yeah. COVID.
COVID-19.
COVID. Okay, yeah. COVID is like that. COVID. Right. Sometimes my examples are a bit unfortunate, guys. I think you probably notice quite quickly. Yeah? Anyway, the thing is, what they're trying to prove here is that regardless of what you want to build, that's always the first step. Create React app, space, and then the name of your app. The name of your app will be a new folder in your system. That's it. Try to avoid special characters, accents, just the name of a folder. Yeah? Keep it simple. You've seen I got two words, and I'm separating them with a space, more or less. So if my app was hello world, instead of writing that, I will do something like that. Yeah? Hyphen.
What's the difference between create React app and make dir?
Make dir. So make dir,
It's a folder.
you just create a folder in your system. It's like doing right click, new folder, best porn, something like that, yeah?
So the create React app creates the underlying files.
Correct, exactly. Create React app creates a folder, but on top of that, downloads thousands of files for you to start working with React. I'll show you.
So it would be like npm install React.
Yeah,
So
correct. That will happen under the hood. Yeah. So many things will run automatically just by pressing enter. Look, you see, creating a React app in blah 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 in that folder. So now Facebook is downloading thousands of files and folders that we need to create a modern piece of software. In the 90s, when Google was created, you know, the first thing Google did, or whoever created Google, the first thing they did is right-click index.html. That's the way companies like Google started, creating a single file. Yeah. Today, not unfortunately, things have changed quickly. So creating an app requires a lot of dependencies, tools. But thankfully, thanks to all these things that Facebook is downloading, we'll be able to create really powerful applications. Create React app. So that process may take 2 or 3 minutes. So we need to be a bit patient. And in the meantime, we can open this app with our code editor. Which code editor are you going to use, guys?
VS Code.
That's fantastic. We are not very opinionated about which code editor, how you're going to write the code. There are multiple code editors. Do you know any other apart from VS Code?
We're using
Atom? Sublime? IntelliJ? I cannot hear you. Brackets, correct, brackets, yeah. So yeah, there are plenty of code editors, yeah. Eclipse. Notepad, yeah. Command line. So I mean, definitely there are multiple alternatives. You can use whichever you prefer. However, unless you are very opinionated, unless you are a fanboy of a particular editor, let me recommend you Visual Studio Code. This is today the most popular code editor in the world, according to Stack Overflow. You know Stack Overflow? Can anybody tell me what Stack Overflow is?
collaboration website where
That sounds very romantic.
What do you call it?
collaboration.
Is it the place where you don't know how to do something, you ask a question, and someone replies, and you copy and paste the winning solution? Yeah? That's it. That's it. So obviously, Stack Overflow, they know a lot about coding as well. Yeah? Not sure if as much as GitHub, but they know a lot about coding.
It's a community, I guess.
Community, what do you mean?
It's not. Do the answers come from
The community, yeah. So I got a question. You all provide answer, and the community up votes or down votes, and then yeah. So yeah, that's Stack Overflow. So according to Stack Overflow, VS Code is already the most popular text editor. Let me give you some key points about VS Code. You can go to a job interview, and they may ask you, "Oh, you're using VS Code? Why?" And you know the difference between saying, I don't know, I've seen someone using it, or A, B, C, D. Yeah? So it's important to know why VS Code is a fantastic editor. First of all, it's free. Yeah? That's not surprising at all, but it's free. It's open source. You know what open source means?
or a community can, and everyone can use it, everyone can extend it without any restrictions.
Correct.
Licensing.
Open source means the code is publicly available on GitHub. It doesn't need to be on GitHub, but it is on GitHub. That means that everyone, imagine that you have found a bug on VS Code, you can fix it, and then you can propose the fix. Or you want to add a new feature, you can do it as well. I know what you're thinking, like, oh, but I don't have the ability to, because that's a complex piece of software. When talking about open source, we are not just talking about adding algorithms, fixing bugs, we're talking about maybe updating the documentation. You know, imagine that you find a typo in the docs. There is a missing comma. Or they are looking for collaborators. Firefox do that often. They want to translate Firefox to Catalan. They are looking for people, Catalan speakers, yeah? Things like that, yeah? So I'm sure everybody can contribute. So, yeah, definitely that's one of the things in the future you should consider. If you prove that you've been contributing to an important piece of software, even if it's just updating a comma, fixing a typo in the docs, that proves your attitude, and that proves you're really committed. So yeah, it's free, it's open source. There is a monthly release, so you get a new version every month. What else? It's supported by a big company, which is Microsoft. There are lots of extensions, plugins, yeah? So you can actually improve the potential of the editor. And one more thing, does anybody know in which language VS Code is written? That's correct. Guys, if you want to become successful JavaScript developers, you should trust JavaScript software. So even though this is a software that I got installed, I'm not using my web browser. I didn't go to www.vscode.com. No, I downloaded the software, I installed it. Are you sure? Next. Software is running in JavaScript. Once again, JavaScript is the only language that runs everywhere. Beyond the scope of the web, runs everywhere. So the first thing we do is let's open the project. How do we open VS Code? You go to File, and then Open. So now we have to locate the folder with our project. Let me have a look because I don't know where I created it. All right, I created it in a wrong folder, so you can ignore my next step. I just need to move my folder. So yes, how do they call it? Code div, yeah. So iBeans, COVID. I can do it. Here you go. Code div. Oh, sorry, I misspelled it. You see? Code div. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. Sorry, I used the wrong name. Anyway, the name of it is not important. Yeah, you can rename it afterwards. All right. So by default, unless you do something stupid as I did, your project will be on your home directory. What the hell your home directory is? If you got a Mac, if you're a Mac user, your home directory is very easy to find. You cannot see that, it's on top of the screen, but you will find the home icon, easy peasy. If you're a Windows user, that could be a bit more complicated. On Windows, your home directory looks something like that. C:/users/ your user ID, for instance, sexyboy25 / your project name, whatever it is. Yeah? So that's your home directory on Windows. So once you found it, you click open. And now, look, on the left-hand side, you got a bunch of files and folders that Facebook downloaded for us. So now something important. I got my app locally, but the app is not available. We need to start it. We need to start the server because it's a React application. So does anybody know how do you start an app in JavaScript? npm start, correct. So we have to type the npm start command every single day of your life. Thanks to that command, our application, regardless of whether it's Google, Amazon, if you are the creators of this app, will become available to your customers, yeah, somehow. I got two options. I can run npm start in this terminal, but I'm not going to do that. Why I'm not going to do that? Because I will need to do ping pong between my terminal and my VS Code. Yeah? If something goes wrong, if I break my app, I will probably see a nice stack trace, a nice error here, but I probably won't spot the error immediately because my focus is on the coding side. So even though you can do npm start here, I'm not going to do that. Let me show you how to start the server with VS Code. On top of the menu, you will find an option called Terminal, and now you will see something called New Terminal. When you click on it, look what we got. You got an embedded terminal at the bottom of my screen. And that's quite convenient because I can type my commands in here. So let's see if what we said before is right or not. Someone suggested to type npm start. Yeah? Let's see what happened. Let's see what happened. npm start. Enter. Now look, I'm not touching my laptop. I'm not doing anything with it, but my system redirects the control to the web browser. You see it's loading? You see the tiny loading bar on top? So now my system is trying to start a React application. Boom. If you get that icon, that's the React logo, by the way. It has nothing to do with Chernobyl or with Fukushima. If you get a logo, that means your laptop is ready. You are ready to start coding with React. Any questions? Okay, fair enough. So, I mean, that's the starting point. So now, I know that developers, humans, we sometimes struggle to read instructions. When you buy a new TV, do you read instructions? You don't read instructions, yeah? But when talking about coding, sometimes, you know, it's important to pay attention to the messages. For instance, there is a single message on the screen. Edit source app.js and say to reload. What the hell that means? That means back to VS Code, edit source app.js, that's a JavaScript file, source app.js, and save to reload. Let me show you. We got the same message here. Is that programming language familiar to any of you? HTML. Interesting. Interesting. That's right. This code looks like HTML. One of the reasons why React became so popular so quickly is because by the first time ever, they didn't try to reinvent the wheel. In other words, imagine that you have no idea what JavaScript or React is. You have no idea. But you've done a bit of HTML, Udemy, FreeCodeCamp, whatever. Yeah? It happened. So what React is telling you is, all right, if you know a bit of HTML, you can prove your skills here. You can reuse it. You can reuse it. So let's change the title. You see, instead of edit, source, app, and set to reload, let's display welcome to the March and April bootcamp. And once we save the file, what happens if we check the browser again? See? The web browser automatically updated. I don't have to refresh the page. I don't have to do anything. Happens magically under the hood. I hope you agree with me. That's pretty cool. You've said that this is HTML. However, let's be a bit more precise. Imagine that you want to style your HTML page. Which attribute do you have to add to your markup to add a class to define your style? What's the attribute name? Class. Class equal whatever, and then you style it. We'll talk about CSS tomorrow, yeah? But there is a class attribute. Can you see anything smelly in this snippet? Class name. It's true. It's not the same. In other words, if you are applying to a junior position and you said this is HTML, you probably won't get the job because that's not HTML. Looks like HTML. It shares 95% of HTML, but there are some subtle differences. This is, technically speaking, JSX, which is a version of HTML. Yeah? The good news is, if you know HTML, you can reuse the majority of the stuff. But technically speaking, you don't refer to that as HTML. And then I got a question for you. Many junior developers, even some senior developers, they don't care about the CSS. See the styling, the visuals. Yeah? If you're in a job interview and the employer asks you, what do you think about CSS? What will be your answer? What do you think about, genuinely speaking, what do you think about CSS? It's important, it's not important, do you like it, do you hate it?
One of the cornerstones of web development.
Is it what?
Cornerstone of web development.
Mm-hmm.
One of the three, right? HTML, JavaScript, and CSS.
It's an opinion. Any other thoughts about CSS? You need it.
100%.
Yeah, and
The
you
website has to be attractive as well.
correct. Yeah, I agree on that. Some developers say, "Oh, CSS, colors. I don't care." Don't say that. I've seen candidates. I've been interviewing like 150 candidates in my life, and I've seen that a few times already. People, even senior people, saying, "Oh, CSS, colors." You don't get the job if you say that. CSS, as you said, guys, is important. Visuals. Applications are expected to run smoothly, but they should look good as well. How many times you came across an app doing something really cool, but with a horrible UI UX? Yeah. We are not expecting you to be the next Leonardo da Vinci, but at least there are some patterns about dealing with user interfaces that everybody should understand. Yeah, things like having a red background with pink text on top. Like, who the hell did that? Yeah. So we'll talk about CSS patterns and anti-patterns. So let me ask you something. Imagine that I want to learn how to paint. This guy is an international exhibit. He does international painting stuff. So he has been running shows in New York, Tokyo, whatever. Imagine that I want to change career and I want to do painting, and I ask him, what's the best way to start painting? I have no idea, because I'm new on that. There are two options. I can start painting on top of a white canvas, empty canvas, nothing on it, or I can start painting on top of something else that something did before. What's the best way to create your first masterpiece? Empty canvas or on top of something else? Empty, Minji, do you agree on that? Yeah, I agree on that as well. Yeah. In other words, if you want to create the next Facebook, the next Google, the next whatever, you don't want these things on the screen. Yeah. So let's remove them. Let's remove them. You see that header tag? Look. Let's remove it. Out. Look at how simple my code is now. Yeah? You know, the best code is the one you delete, because that code will never fail again. Middle title. Welcome to the bootcamp. Exclamation mark. Back to the screen. It's there. I hope you agree with me. From a UX point of view, looks quite small. Yeah. Can anybody tell me how can I change the size of the text in HTML?
Either you add.
That's a fantastic answer. I could use app.css, but I don't want to go that far. Tomorrow on the CSS workshop, we'll do CSS magic. But today, I want to keep it simple, guys. I don't want to change the CSS. H1, I love that. H1 or heading 1. This is an HTML tag to change the size of the text. What I'm trying to prove here is if I can reuse my HTML skills. I knew that. H1 changed the title size, so it works. So yes, we can definitely change that. So now the next step is I want to display my favorite movie. So let me create a div. A div is just a container. We'll talk about different containers in HTML. It's just a box. And inside of that box, let me display the title of my favorite movie. How do you create a title, a big title, but not as big as the main one? H2, for instance, fantastic. And then my favorite movie is Megazord versus Crocosaurus. Yeah? So back to the code. You got in there. I've seen many developers coding like hell, 20 minutes, changing, moving, blah, blah, blah. After 20 minutes, they check the browser, and of course, nothing works. Yeah? So one of the key aspects to become a successful developer is you do one change, even if it's a silly change, and then you check the browser. If it works, fantastic, move to the next change. But if it doesn't, at least you know it doesn't work because something you changed 20 seconds ago. If you code for 20 minutes without checking the result of your changes, and then you check the browser, it won't work, first of all, trust me. And then the problem is, why doesn't it work? It's because something you changed 1 minute ago, 12 minutes ago, it will take you longer to figure out. Yeah? One change, test it. One change, test it, and so on. Because that works well, the next and last step of this workshop will be to add the picture of my favorite movie. So, how do we add a picture? First of all, we go to Google or to Bing or wherever and let's find the picture. So there's nothing about coding, it's just finding a picture on the internet. So Megazord versus Crocosaurus, and then go to images, and then just pick one picture. I don't care about pixel perfect, responsive. Yeah, it's just, let's just download the picture. And now be careful, guys. Don't try to save the picture into your desktop folder. Don't try to save the picture into your downloads folder. A key concept when working with React is your applications are self-encapsulated. All the files, all the folders, all the images, all the videos, blah, 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 should be inside of your folder, So once again, you need to find the location of your folder. In my particular case, it's here. You cannot see that, I cannot zoom that, unfortunately. And then make sure you save the file inside of the src folder. If you save the file outside of the src folder, it will throw an error. And one more thing, personally, I will rename the image. Because when you download images from Google, sometimes they have weird names. we need to write the name of the image in a minute. So, you know, keep it simple. So let me call it Megazord. Cool. And then what? I like to call the app COVID-19 and having that picture. It's like a dystopia. Yeah, it's a bit dystopia. All right. So what happened next? Once you download the image, you see, I got it here immediately. VS Code immediately spots the new image, and then you can even preview it, whatever. So now, how do we display that sexy image? Displaying an image in React is like going to Tesco to buy milk. Imagine that you want some milk. There are two steps. First of all, actually free. You go to Tesco or to Sainsbury's, I don't care. Yeah? That's the first step. This is what we've done. We went to Google to find the picture. Yeah? You go somewhere. The next step with the milk is, if you don't want to consume it right now, where you put the milk? Where? In the bag, yeah, but once you arrive home, what do you do with the milk? In the fridge. In the freezer. You put the milk in the freezer. Well, that's a bit perfect. I don't care, guys. Anyway, I don't care about your private life. But 99% of the people, I guess, they put the milk in the fridge, right? If they want to consume it maybe in a few hours in the fridge. All right, so the first step is to put the picture in the fridge. Then you have to import the milk into the fridge. So now we have to import the picture. Look at the syntax. Import, and then you need to create a variable holding your picture. Let me call it Megazord. And now we need to specify the location of the picture from. You just need to get used to the syntax. This is JavaScript syntax. Does anybody know how do I refer to a file that is on the same folder sibling of the current file? Correct, /. And with /, now I can type the name of the picture, megazord.jpg, I think. Be careful with the extension, of course. If I refer to it as PNG, it won't work.
So, just a quick question.
Go for it.
/ takes you back to the parent?
No. // takes you back to the same place.
The whole source file?
The whole, the whole SRC folder.
Okay.
Does anybody know how will I refer to a file based on the parent folder? Correct. // It will go one level up. Yeah. So that's the way you can navigate through your folder structure. By the way, that has nothing to do with coding or with JavaScript. Yeah. If you are dealing with a command line, it's the same principle essentially. Cool. So I got the image imported. Will it be displayed? Why not?
Because you cannot reference it in the markup or in the function.
Fantastic. The image won't be displayed yet because we imported it. We put the milk into the fridge, but we are not drinking the milk yet. So to drink the milk or to display the image, how do you add an image in HTML?
Image.
Correct. What else? SRC, correct. In HTML, you will do something like that. Yeah? In HTML. However, this is not very React friendly. In React, look, we save the image into a variable, you see? Line number 3, Megazord. So now, we can bind with that variable. And how do we do that? How do we do that? Very important. Every time you want to access to a JavaScript variable inside of HTML, does anybody know which character I need to type? Correct. Curly bracket or curly brace. And finally, the name of the image.
Can you repeat the last thing you said about the curly
Yeah.
braces, please?
All line number 10, this is HTML. It's hard-coded text, all good. But here, I want to display an image saved into the Megazord variable. So that's JavaScript. Every time you want to access JavaScript within HTML, you need to surround it with curly brace. Yeah? Don't forget, guys, your fingers will bleed eventually of typing curly braces. So make sure you get well with them. Yeah? Megazord, will it work? All right, so let's see if it works. Let me show you. Back to my app. Fantastic, fantastic. It works. However, if you were doing this as part of a job interview, and you will say, all right, I'm done with the task, I will complain. Why? Look, what you can see at the bottom is my terminal. When I run npm start, the server will be analyzing my code. If I did something not really well, the server will vomit a warning or an error or whatever. So to me, at the moment, the code doesn't look good. Compiled with warnings. Nothing catastrophic, however, that's not very good. So can anybody tell me what the first error is about?
Got something reference is not used.
Correct. This is like buying milk into the fridge and then not consuming it at all. That's bad. Yeah? Why you went to buy milk if you're not going to consume it? So that logo, you remember I deleted the majority of my HTML? That was the React logo. I removed the HTML, but I forgot to remove the import. So let's get rid of it. And now, what the hell is the remaining warning?
A quick question about standards there. So you deleted that line of code.
Yep.
Would you ever comment it out if you want to bring it back later?
That's a fantastic question. We'll talk about it in the future. I'm not a big fan of comments. I know many developers do things like that.
Yeah.
Many, even senior developers, they do like. I hate that. I never accept comments on my code, almost never. Why? Because of multiple reasons. Comments easily get out of sync. In other words, even if I created that function and I document that function, the function is likely to change over time. And developers easily forget to update the comments to stay in sync with the behavior. Because of that, to me, there is nothing worse, and I've experienced that hundreds of times. Every time I land on a project and I have no idea about what the project is about, so I see a function, and then if I want to understand what the function is, I read the comments, but then the comments don't reflect the behavior of the function because the function has changed. So this is super confusing because the comments tell me this function removes coronavirus, whatever, yeah? But the function has changed and now it's dealing with something else, so it's wasting my time and my money, yeah? I hate that. We will see how to document your code correctly. We'll talk about testing, unit testing, we'll talk about that. So for me, there is no point of commenting the code.
Okay.
So again, what's that warning about?
So you need alternative tag or whatever that's
We need alternative tag. And what the hell the alternative tag is?
Basically, if the image doesn't load, you get that name displayed, or if you move your cursor on the image, you can get the timer.
All right, so I'll tell you something. You did something really well. I don't think you are right. However, you argue really well, and that's important. I prefer, in a job interview, someone giving me a wrong answer, but really well argumented, than someone giving me a right answer without the feeling that he or she knows what he or she is talking about. Yeah? I've seen that many times. Do you know what in JavaScript a function is? A function is, yeah, what the hell that means? Yeah? So you convince me, even though you are not right. So, first of all, an alternative text is an attribute. Yeah. And here you can specify the content of your image. So the content should be the title of the movie, right? Megazord versus Crocosaurus. So if I go back to my web browser, the reason why you were not completely right is because if I hover the image, I don't get that title.
Because I'm confused with the title.
Correct. There's another.
Which title attribute again?
Yes. But in that particular case, the title was not required.
No.
It was the old. And you may be thinking, but wait, why we need that for? Listen, do you see any visual difference? No. Do you see the title? No. I mean, I can take here, I can type that, right? Nothing changes. So why React was so picky? Why it wanted me to add a meaningful title? This is thinking on impaired people. You know? We consume web apps by going on a URL and checking images, text, whatever. But blind people, they also consume the web. Yeah? So blind people, they use special web browsers. And these special web browsers can read the screen. Reading the title is very easy. It's just text. Yeah? If I go to Google Translate, they can even translate the content easily. And I paste the title.
Megazord versus Crocosaurus.
The user can learn the content of the app by reading the text. Fantastic. But what happened with the image? Can a web browser understand the content of the picture? Well, I'll tell you something. Today, that's not possible. Yeah? And that's why, thanks to the old attribute, the web browser, the special web browser will tell you there is an image and the image is about Megazord versus Crocosaurus. Yeah? We are helping the impaired user. I'll tell you something. I got the feeling, and this is just my feeling, but I'm 99% sure that will happen, that thanks to AI, this is about to change quickly. Because have you ever done is it reverse search, or how you call that? When you have a picture and reverse search, right? So technically speaking, technology already today, the web browser may take the picture, ask Google, hey Google, what is that picture about? And Google will provide some details about the picture. Yeah? So I'm pretty convinced in the near future, the alternative type attribute will be unnecessary. So you know, this is one of these things that in a job interview could make a difference because you are proving you got a lot of programming culture. Yeah? So yeah, it works. So, I mean, from the workshop point of view, that's pretty much it. Now, you will have to commit and push the changes to the cloud. But I'm not going to tell you how to do it because this is part of the preparation steps. Yeah? Try. If you struggle, let us know and we'll help you. One more thing. You will probably notice very quickly that you change something. You go to a web browser and you don't get the changes. And then you said, oh, I forgot to save. And you have to save your files. You will notice once you save a file, the cross button gets replaced with a white circle. You will notice that. The reason is, by default, VS Code don't save the changes for you like any other tool. If you are working with Photoshop, you need to save your file, right? Or Microsoft Word, if that still exists today. Anyway, with VS Code, there is a way to tell, hey, don't make me save my files within 2020, save them for me. It's pretty cool. Yeah? This bootcamp is about productivity, building more in less time. So how do we tell VS Code, please save the files for me? Let me show you. You go to File, and then, Code, and then Preferences, and then Settings. So if now you type autosave, by default, you have a drop-down with the value off. That means VS Code is not auto-saving my files. Please select after delay, and then at the bottom, you need to specify a delay. What the hell that delay means? That delay means save my file after some number of milliseconds. In my particular case, I got half a second. Why half a second and not 1 second or 2 seconds? You know, when you code, React, Facebook compiles your code and then it gives it to the browser. If you provide a very small number like 100 milliseconds or even 0, sometimes fail. That depends on your laptop. Try different numbers. Yeah? For me, I found a good balance. My balance is once I stop coding, after half a second, I can wait half a second, I think it's not a big deal. My files get saved and the content gets sent to the web browser. Questions? No? That was pretty simple, right? So that will be your first task of Codeflix. You will start working on that this afternoon after the team challenge.
I want to ask something.
Yeah. Second?
I want to ask something. Maybe it's something you probably will cover later on. We save the image in a folder. And we talked about standard files and all that stuff. Is it good to kind of like have a folder that we save?
Yeah, of course. We'll do a workshop probably in a couple of weeks' time to talk about best practices. For instance, not sure if you noticed, but I got two words, mega and shark. But I joined them. You see the capital, the big S? What's the name of this case? Correct, that's camel case. But technically speaking, I may have used, you know what case is that? Snake case. Why am I using camel and not instead of a snake? Because of Airbnb. Airbnb recommends to use camel case. You see, that's camel case. So yeah, we'll talk about best practices. Anything else, guys? No?